Hello everyone. Today's class is going to be about making comparisons and doing some compare and contrasting through discussion. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about comparatives and superlatives and different ways that you can compare things in those ways or using those grammar points. We will also be doing a lot of discussions. So it looks like we have a couple of people here. Daniel.
Hello,
Hi, Daniel. Where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
Okay, well, welcome to class.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We have Fernelis. I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly. How do you say your name?
Bernelis,
Fernelis? Okay. And where are you from?
Dominican Republic.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
We also have Herman.
Hello,
Hello. And can you remind me where you are from, Herman?
Mexico.
Mexico. Well, welcome.
Thank
We
you.
have Andre as well.
Hello, Roberta, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. And we have Pavel.
Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Where are you from?
I am from Russia.
Russia. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so today, as I said at the beginning, we're going to be talking about, or we're going to be making comparisons, and we're going to be doing that through discussion. And sometimes we're going to be looking at pictures and doing some very basic comparisons through that. But today, the main grammar focus is going to be on using comparatives and superlatives. Okay, so using things that describe two things or two or more things using ER or EST. And it looks like we have someone new joining us. We have Alejandro. Where are you calling from? Looks like I'm getting some feedback on your mic. Okay. So the first thing we're going to be doing today is I'm going to have some introduction questions, and I just want you guys to be looking at some different pictures and telling me what you already kind of know about how to describe the differences and similarities between these two things. We have Tala joining us.
Hi,
Hi, Tala. Where are you from?
I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Okay, well, welcome. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you some questions about, or some things that we're just going to be making some comparisons about at the beginning before we talk too much about some different rules. So, can everyone see this clearly, or do I need to make it bigger?
It's clear.
It's clear? Good. Okay. Thank you. So the first thing I want you to do is I'm going to call on someone, or if you have, if you really, really want to answer the question, you can say it. But if not, I will call on you. I want us to just talk about the differences and similarities between these two things. So the first thing is junk food. First of all, what is junk food?
Pizza, hamburger,
Yeah? So what makes it junk food, though? Is it good or bad for you?
unhealthy food.
Unhealthy? Yeah? It's usually not so good for you. And then on the other side, we have healthy food. Okay? So, I want us to describe what are some of the differences and similarities between these two groups of pictures. So I'm going to ask Andre, What are some differences and similarities you can see right off the bat?
Okay, so for example, junk food is usually full of sugar and fats, and healthy food is usually is fresh and full of vitamins.
Okay. So usually healthy food has vitamins, it's usually good for your body, and junk food is usually not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else that we want to add to that? What are some differences and similarities between the specific foods that you see? What are some things you see in the junk food, and what are some things you see in the healthy food? Herman.
Um, I think junk food contain more uh, fat and more carbohydrates.
And more carbohydrates. Yeah,
Carb
good word. Okay. Yeah, it contains more than the healthy food, right? Anything else to add to that?
You must cook healthy food, and usually junk food is has been cooked
Okay. Usually junk
in a
food,
factory or in a restaurant.
yeah, exactly. Usually junk food you might just buy and it's already cooked, right? But healthy food is usually fresh. You might have to cook it. Good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So, obviously there are some differences between these two things. Okay, what are some differences between these two things? Alejandra, can you explain a difference that you see between the two things?
The side y, one is short and other is big.
Yeah, yeah. So you said short versus big, right? Yeah, one is small, one is big. What's another difference? Fernelis?
Another difference that I can see is the taller dog is a different kind of dog. It's not the same.
Yeah, they're two different types, right? You can
Yeah.
say there are two different breeds of dogs, we
Breed.
say. Different breeds.
Can you type that on the chat, please?
Can you repeat that? Your microphone is a little bit low. It sounds like you're very far away from your microphone.
I asked was if can you type that on the chat?
Hmm. I'm not really sure what you're saying. It's a little bit it's very, very low. It's hard for me to understand.
You say that the dog is different kind of breed,
Yes.
and well, what I want to say is that I don't know that word, and I
Oh,
to
okay.
write on the chat.
So I typed in breed, different breeds in the chat. So if there are different types of animals and dogs, and if you want to say that one, the small one, is a totally different type of the other one, you would say they are different breeds. And
Okay.
I typed it out in the chat for you. Okay? Andre, are there some other differences that you can see?
Yes, the small dog has longer hair than the bigger one.
Yes, you're right. Longer hair than the bigger one. Looks like a shorter hair dog is the bigger one. Good. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. So what I did here was this top one, this top house. I Googled typical American house. Even though they have an international flag in their yard, I Googled typical American house. And then I Googled typical German house underneath that. So I'm not sure if Google did it correctly, but these are apparently, according to Google, typical houses in America and Germany. So, what are some differences and similarities that you can see in these two different houses? I'm going to ask Alejandra.
Height, the height,
The
uh,
height. Yeah.
the first picture had two floor. The second picture has three floor.
Okay. The second one has 3 floors. Good. So the second one has a different number of floors. Pavel, what are some differences that you can see?
I see that American house has arch yard, but German house don't has yard at all.
Yeah, the American house has a yard, which is the green section in front where people can go outside. But it looks like the German house maybe doesn't have a yard. We can't see all the way down, but it looks like maybe it goes out straight to the street. Okay. What else? Fernelis. Oh, Pavel? Okay.
Let's see. Mm, no, I can see anything else.
Okay. Can anyone else see any differences or
I think
similarities? Yeah?
difference. I think the architecture is extremely different
Yeah, the
because
architecture.
yeah, the
Good.
American house is a kind of uh, single house and house, and the German is like like an apartment or flat
Good, yeah.
because there aren't any they don't have a fence or a backyard.
Yeah, yeah. One difference is definitely the fence, right? What are some similarities that you see? Things that they have in common?
The roof,
Sure, yeah, they both have
kind of
roof.
roof.
So they both have a roof. What else?
Double windows.
Double windows. Yeah. What are double windows?
That window is that one window is in fact from the two windows. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know how to say.
So the two windows are sort of connected, and it
Yeah,
looks,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, good, good, good. Okay. Anything else to add before we move on to the next one? Okay. These are two different beaches. So we have one beach at the top. This is an American beach, and this is on the East Coast in the United States. And then we have this beach underneath. And this is, does anyone recognize this beach? Okay, this is a pretty famous beach in Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah, Thailand has some very beautiful beaches. What are some differences that you can see between these two different beaches?
The water color,
The color of the water, yeah, definitely. Can you say more?
it's white. The sea is so white in Thailand.
Yeah.
In American, it's like a surf.
Yeah, we could say the the beach or the seas are much rougher in the United States, which means they can toss you around a little bit, right? But in Thailand, it looks like it's very calm, right? So they definitely look like different beaches, okay? Anything else that you want to add to this
Roberta,
one?
can you
Sure.
please write down the words like the opposite of calm water?
Sure. So
Thank you.
rough versus calm water, right? What else did we say? We said, what are some other differences? We said that the colors are different, right? What's something else?
The sand is more clean. It's more clear.
Okay. So it looks like maybe the sand is a different color. It looks like maybe the sand is more pure, right? The
Yes.
sand doesn't have as many imperfections on it, right? Good. So, any other questions before we move on to reading a little bit about comparatives and superlatives? Comparatives and superlatives are ways of comparing two or more things. Okay, so I'm going to stop this screen share and I'm going to pull up a reading about comparatives and superlatives. Okay. Okay. Is this too small still?
Yeah, I think it could be bigger.
Okay. Let me see. Because the problem now, let me see, zoom in. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Okay. Thanks, Andre. Let's look at read a little bit about comparatives and superlatives. And these are just some basic rules that I want us to remember whenever we are looking at some more comparisons in a little bit. So, Pavel, can you read what it says under comparatives and superlatives from the top of the page?
Comparatives and superlatives. Adjectives are used to describe nouns. When comparing things, we use comparative and superlative adjectives. For comparatives, we usually add er, and for superlatives, we usually add est.
Okay, so that's correct. For comparatives, we add er, and for superlatives, we add est. And you've probably seen these different adjectives in a lot of places, but for today we're going to look a little bit about the rules because I want you to use comparatives and superlatives when we are doing some comparative or doing some comparing and contrasting of things, okay? I want Andre, if you can read this section. It says adjective form, comparative, and superlative.
Okay.
So I want you to start here, where my mouse is, if you can see it.
Adjective form, only one syllable, ending in e. Examples: white, fine, cute. Comparative: are, wider, finer, cutter.
Cuter.
Cuter.
Yeah, good.
Superlative: est, widest, finest, cutest.
Okay, good. So as you can see, if the adjective form are things like wide, fine, and cute, you would add are, okay, if you are comparing two things. If you are comparing more than two things, you would add st to make it widest, finest, and cutest, okay? Under this one, I want to hear from Alejandro.
Yes.
So this one right here, right underneath the one that we just read. If you can see this one.
Okay. Only one syllable with one vowel and one consonant at the end. Examples: hot, big, fat.
Okay.
Double, okay.
Yep, nope, go ahead.
Double the consonant and add ear. Hotter, bigger, fatter. Double the consonant and add est. Hottest, biggest, fattest.
Okay, so if we are talking about, for example, two different places, okay, let's look at comparative section. If we are talking about two different places and we're talking about northern Russia and the weather in Thailand, what are some differences that we could say about those two places? Is it cold or hot in Russia? Pavel?
The weather in Russia is colder than Thailand.
Yeah, I think so, right? I think that the weather in Thailand is, the weather in Russia is colder than the weather in Thailand. Now, if we are comparing, if we're comparing the weather in Russia to the weather in Thailand and in Malaysia, is the weather in Malaysia kind of hot too?
Yes, I think the weather in Malaysia is the same
Yeah, they're
of
very,
Thailand.
yeah, the two countries are close to each other, right? So we could say, if we are comparing the weather between those three places, we would say, and I'm going to type it out, the weather in Russia is the coldest of the three places because we are comparing more than two things, okay? If we are comparing only two things, you can use colder, okay? Let's look at the next section. And I want to hear from Daniel.
Only one syllable with more than one vowel or more than one consonant at the end. Samples: light, net, fast. Add er, lighter, neater, faster. Add est, lightest, heatest, fastest.
Okay, so this is the same. If we are comparing two things, you can say something like lighter, neater, and faster. Okay, if you're comparing three things, you can say things like lightest, neatest, and fastest to add est. Okay, two syllables ending in y. Can I hear from Herman?
Mm, Two syllables ending in J.
In
Example.
Y.
Y. Sorry.
Yep, good.
Happy, silly, lonely. Change Y to I. Then add ER. ER. Happier, sillier, lonelier. Change Y to I. Then add EST. Happiest, silliest, loneliest.
Okay, so if you have a word like happy, silly, or lonely, and they end in Y, okay, and it's two syllables, you change the Y to an I and then add ER, and you can see how that's done in these examples, okay? And then it's similar for the superlative form, okay? If you have happy and you want to compare three things, and you want to say, I am the happiest out of my 5 friends, this is how you would change happy to the superlative form. happiest. Okay? The next section. Let's hear from, let's see, who haven't I heard from? Tala. So can you see, Tala, where I have it highlighted at the bottom?
I think she's gone.
Oh, okay. Let's hear from, then, Alejandra.
2 syllables or more, no ending in Y. Example: modern, interesting, beautiful. Use more before the adjective more modern, more interesting, more beautiful. Use most beautiful before the adjective most modern, most interesting, most beautiful.
Good. Okay, so 2 syllables or more. If the word is like modern, that has 2 syllables. If it's like interesting, that has 2 syllables, or that has 3 syllables. Interesting. That has 4 syllables, actually. And then we have beautiful. Okay, that has more than 2 syllables. You use more before the adjective. So you would say something like more modern. Okay, we don't say moderner. We don't say interestinger. Okay, you say more interesting or more beautiful. And then it's, with most, it's the similar rule, okay, for these different adjectives with 2 syllables or more. You would say most before the adjective, most modern, most interesting, most beautiful. Okay? And we're going to be using these and just doing some informal practice, discussing some things here in a little bit. Okay? Then we have, on the last section, these adjectives are exceptions to the rule. What does that mean? Herman, what does that mean, do you think? If you're not sure, you can just say, I'm not sure.
Teacher, I'm not sure.
Okay, good. So does anyone think that they know what that means? Exceptions to the rule?
Yes, they
One
have
syllable.
the unique form of the word.
Exactly. Yeah. So exceptions to the rule mean that they are unique, right? These words are unique. This means that all these rules that we read about, these ones don't really follow that, okay? So that's why English is tricky sometimes. We have good. Does anyone know the comparative and
Better.
superlative? What is it?
Better.
Good. So we have good, better, and then what's the superlative form?
Best.
Best. Good. Okay. What about bad?
Worse.
Worst.
Okay. So we have, if something is the worst, okay, you can say, or if something is the worst out of 3 things, you can say that. But we can say if something is worse, is the, so I typed it out in the chat, okay.
Roberta,
Yeah?
can I use worst without the preposition the? Or
No, you can use it without the preposition in some, or without the article, the. You can use it without that sometimes. You can
Okay.
say, well, let me think, because there are some different situations where you can use those. Usually, I think you would use the article. You would use an article. But you can, if you're comparing, you could say is Because, well, let me think. I think it's mostly you would use the. I'm trying to think of a situation where you wouldn't use it, and I'm having a hard time. So I think usually you would use the in front of it.
Okay, okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Sure, good question though. What about the last one, fun? Do you say funner? Who thinks you say funner if you want to say two things and say one thing is more fun? Do you say funner?
I think that's the same word.
Okay, so yeah, you use something different. You would say more fun. And then what do you say for the superlative?
Most fun.
Yeah, you would say most fun. Okay, and then I heard someone say, I think it might have been Andre, did you say funnier?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so those are two different words. So fun usually describes like an activity or something like that. Funny usually describes a person. So if you want to say he is a very funny person, you could say, he is funnier out of the two people, or he is the funniest person that I know. Okay. But normally you would not say, you can say also that someone is a fun person, but usually funnier describes a person, okay? So now that we have a little bit, or we know a little bit about some different rules about how to make comparisons, we're going to talk a little bit about ads. We're going to look at ads, and then we're going to look at the reality. So, what is an ad, an advertisement? Alejandra? If you don't know, you can say, I don't know.
An advertisement
Excuse me, can you repeat, please?
So, what is an advertisement? I'm typing it out.
it would be a promotion of the business or a company.
Yeah, so it's
I
a
don't know.
promotion for a business, right? Sometimes it might be a commercial, right? Or something like that. When you look on TV, they might have an advertisement for food or clothes or cosmetics or something like that. So that's an advertisement. Are the real products always like the advertisements? Pavel, what do you think?
Uh, uh, could you repeat, please?
Sure. Are advertisements always like the products?
I don't know exactly. Usually, advertisement needs for real products, but some kinds of products don't need the advertisement.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm trying to make you think about is when you see an advertisement for something and you say, oh, that looks so great, I'm going to go buy it. When you get it, does it always look like what it looked like in the advertisement or commercial?
Yes, some products can buy itself.
Yeah, so sometimes they look a little bit different. Sometimes you might say, this isn't what it looked like in the commercial, okay?
Fast food
And
commercial.
yeah,
Hamburger.
that's the job, right? That's why they say, or that's the job of the commercial, is to make it look really, really great, right? Is to make a product look great so you go out and buy it. But it doesn't always look great when you buy it. So one thing or one place where a lot of times advertisements do not look the same are with fast food. What is fast food, Andre?
Fast food is something like a restaurant, but it's faster. You usually just buy and go.
Yeah. Sometimes it's usually something that you can get very quickly, of course.
Yeah.
That's why it's called fast food, right? But sometimes, who here has seen a commercial for fast food on TV?
Like a Burger King.
Exactly, like
On-
Burger King.
when
Yeah?
you see the advertisement on the TV, it looks like a big burger, and when you look at the menu, you you think that you're gonna get a big burger, but when you get that, it looks like totally different.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad that you said that. I'm really glad you brought that up because that's exactly what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the advertisement of fast food versus the real thing that people bought. And they took a picture of it and they said, this doesn't look like what it looked like in the commercial. Okay? So we're going to be looking at we're going to be looking at those different comparisons, okay? So I'm going to screen share that with you, and this is called fast food ads versus reality, okay? So, can you see this, or do I need to fast forward or make it a little bit bigger? I can zoom in a little bit more. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So Daniel, I'll start with you. Let's look at the top one. What are
Okay.
some differences you see between these two things?
Okay. Okay, the burrito, maybe.
Sure. Yep, looks like a
Burrito
burrito.
on the right hand looks burner than more, I don't know, the adjective burn,
Burn, I'm going to type it out. Do you
burn,
mean burn? Okay.
burner than the burrito on the left hand.
Okay. So, how do we say burned as a comparative? Because we're comparing two things. How do we use burn as
Burn,
a comparative for burn?
burner.
So we would not say burner. We would say more burned, actually.
Ah, okay.
You can say more.
Or burn. Okay,
Mhm.
because the adjective is burned. No?
So
Okay.
the adjective is burned.
Burned. The
Yeah,
verb
yeah.
is burn. Okay.
Good. What else do we see is different between these two things?
I can see the vegetables
Okay.
on the right hand,
Yeah. What about on the other one?
and the color is low in general.
The color. So how do we talk about color as a superlative form? Or not superlative, comparative.
More more colorful.
Good, exactly. More colorful is the
More
comparative form.
Mhm.
Okay, so the first one, or the one on the left, looks more colorful.
Mhm.
What about the size
The
this way?
size, I think they are similar for me.
Okay. They look pretty similar, actually. Not that much different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Anything else that you want to add? Any other comparisons that you can make?
I maybe give up the on the the burrito on the right hand.
You would give it up,
Yes.
so you would not eat it, right?
Yuck.
Yeah. Yeah, they look a lot different, right? Definitely a lot different. What about this one? This is called the Wendy's Chicken Club. So this has chicken in it. So what are some differences that you can see? Herman?
Okay. On the hamburger picture, right?
Yeah, so these are sandwiches. What are some differences that you can see? This is the advertisement, right? So on the left is the advertisement, and the right is um, the one that you actually get when you go to the store and buy it.
Okay. The right one seems like the cheese is melted.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And in the right and the left picture, it seems like the hamburger or the sandwich is more, it's more, how can I say, clean.
Okay,
Yes,
it's more clean. How can you, so we'll look at the adjective clean.
it's cleaner.
Good.
Yes,
Good.
than the other.
Good. Clean and cleaner. So you could say, I guess you could use that way to describe it. One definitely looks, let's look at the word messy. What does messy is the opposite of clean. What is the comparative form of messy?
It's miss. I can't remember with what.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm. Yes,
yeah, exactly. So I think you might have read this one.
messy.
Yeah, so yep, Daniel typed it out. This is where you drop the I and you add or you drop the Y and you add an I and then add ER. So yeah, messy turns to messier. What if we want to turn it into the superlative form? What does it look like?
Messiest.
Good, the messiest. Okay. What about this next one? McDonald's sausage breakfast burrito. They look the same, right? I don't think so.
No.
Let's hear from Alejandra.
The first picture has a has a better appearance.
So it has bigger, oh, like a bigger opening? Is that what you mean? Can you try to type it out, Alejandra, into the chat log?
Mm,
Can you try to type it?
the first is better
Is
appearance.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The first has better
Yeah,
appearance.
okay. I understand what you mean. So, better appearance.
Appearance.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it looks better, right? Yeah, so you used the form of the comparative form of good, right? So yeah, it has a better appearance, right? What about this, the one next to it, Andre?
Next food or what
So
next?
we can go to the next food, yeah.
Okay, so in fact it looks quite good, both. I think the biggest change is that on the picture on the left there are three beacons inside, and on the picture on the right I don't see any beacon.
Yeah,
So
okay. So one thing, bacon,
bacon.
yeah, you can just say bacon. So you could
Okay,
say 3 pieces of bacon on the left.
and also the shape of bread is different. It's It's like waves. But there are two waves, so how to
Can
say?
you type it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to type the word that you mean. Oh, waves. Okay. So we would say if something has is like lumpy or something like that, you can say wavy.
Hmm.
So how do we turn wavy into a comparative?
That it's more wavier.
So you don't need to say more wavier. You can just turn this into, this is the same rule that we talked about with messy. Remember it ends in a Y?
So wavier.
Yeah, you can say wavier, right? What about if we want to use the superlative form?
Uh, the wavist.
Waviest. Yeah, it's kind of a weird word to say, right? It feels
Yeah.
weird to say. But yeah, you can say wavy or wavier and waviest. Okay? You could just say that maybe this is like a lumpy sandwich, right?
And what is lumpy?
So lumpy is another sort of weird word. It means something. So if you look at the reality one, you can see it has like lumps on it. You can see that it's not flat across the
Hmm.
top. We would say that that's lumpy, right? It's not smooth on the top. It's got like small circles on the top, and we would
Yeah.
say that it's lumpy. It's similar to wavy, but lumpy is usually something you can feel is lumpy, right?
Hmm.
Okay. What about this next one? This looks like Arby's beef and cheddar. They are the same, right? Very similar. I don't think so. Pavel, what are some differences between these two?
These things are very difficult to describe or uh, uh, to compare
Yeah,
because right thing uh, look as though spoiled.
yeah, it's totally different, right? Very different.
Yes. Uh, on the left picture, I see uh, 4 or 5 different uh, pie, uh, pie, pie maybe, bread, cheese, uh, something, something, something meat, some meat,
Yeah, so that's it's beef. We
beef,
call it roast beef.
roast beef, ketchup, and second bread,
The
uh,
second, yeah, yeah.
second part of bread.
Yeah, it just looks like bread, right?
Mm.
What do we call it when something is, so if you see the one on the left, it's very tall, right?
Yes,
Um, what do we call, what's the opposite, or what's another way that we can describe the difference between this very, very tall one?
yes. Left beef is taller than right.
Yeah, you can say taller. What's the difference, or what's the opposite of tall?
Tall, low.
Okay,
Uh,
that's one way to say it's low. There are a couple of different ways. We can say flat. We can say short, right? What's the difference, or what's the superlative or the comparative form of flat?
flat. Flat. Yes. Right. Beef on the right picture is flatter
Good, good.
than beef on left picture.
Yes, it's
On the left.
flatter. Good. And you can say the same for shorter, right? The reality one is shorter. What about these bowls, these two bowls of things? Let's hear from Fernelis.
The left one is more organized and
Good,
is it
organized. Mm-hmm.
organized, yes, and and the and the other one is like messy. I wouldn't eat that before I saw the advertisement because that's that's what you expected. It's not. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Imagine, um, Paul, someone said it looks like dog food, right?
But once you buy it, you have to eat it.
Yeah, once you buy it, you might have to eat it, right? But I don't know if I'd be able to eat it, right? Unless I think if I was very, very hungry, I might eat it. But they definitely look different. That's one thing about advertisements. They want you to go out and buy it, right? Once you buy it, it doesn't matter what it looks like, right? That's all they care about. So yeah, very, very different. And you said um, organized versus more organized. So the left looks more organized. What else? What are some other adjectives that we can use to describe either one of these?
Messier.
Nasty.
Nasty. So I heard messy and I heard nasty, right? So we know messy because we heard messy before. What about nasty? Is nasty a good adjective, or does nasty mean something is good or bad?
Very bad.
Yeah, nasty means something is bad.
Disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. So how do we can actually try that one too. Disgusting. What about nasty? What's the comparative of nasty?
Nastier.
Yeah, you're right. This is the rule we saw about um, Y, and you change it to I. What about disgusting?
More disgusting.
Yeah, this is one where you add more because of the amount of syllables. Okay, and these are very, very strong adjectives. These adjectives you don't use or you might use for a couple of things, but these are strong, considered very strong adjectives. So you don't want to use nasty and disgusting to describe something that's just bad, right? These are things that you feel very, very strongly about if you are describing them, right? What about this next one, this Subway? And it looks like a turkey breast and ham sub. So it has turkey and ham on it. Alejandra?
Um,
Can you
the
say, yep, go ahead. One adjective to describe them.
the sandwich is the second sandwich is uh, more disgusting.
Yeah, you can say that. You can say it's more disgusting than the other one, right? Um, I would also say that maybe the left one, I think it looks like Daniel said, where are some of the ingredients, right? So it looks more closed off, right? It's not as open as the one on the left, right? On the left, we can see there's cheese and vegetables and lettuce, but on the right, it doesn't look like that, right? It would be hard to get a sandwich to look like how it looks on the left side, though, to be fair, right? What are some other things about this sandwich? Daniel?
Different. The bread is more different. It's very different. Sorry.
Yeah, it's different. Can you say what's different about it?
Uh, uh, the the sandwich on the right has less vegetables
Okay.
than the left hand on the left
Yeah,
hand.
sure. It has less vegetables, definitely that we can see, right? Good. What about Wendy's Southwest taco salad? Can we see any differences between those things? Andre?
Yes, left picture or salad or food on left looks more or it looks fresher. I can see all ingredients and vegetables, but on the right I almost don't see any vegetable. Maybe a little salad, but that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
And on the right it looks messier. It's mixed everything.
Yeah, it's mixed up, right? It definitely is messier.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's a good. I think that the word messy is a word that describes a lot of the reality in these different foods, right?
Hmm.
Let's look at the next one. We have the Burger King sausage, egg, and cheese croissant. Let's hear from Fernelis.
Hey, hey. Um, the the burger.
So we're at the croissant. This one right here, the croissant one.
Is that cheese?
Yeah, I think so. It looks like cheese.
Let's see. The second one looks like older than the advertisement one.
Yeah, it definitely looks older, not as fresh, right?
Don't look nice. You know, no one would think that it, I don't know how to say that word. But I think that if I would eat that, I wouldn't feel well
Okay.
later.
Yeah, it looks like maybe so you think if you ate the one, you might not feel well afterwards. But the one on the left looks very fresh and looks like it would not make you sick, right? Yeah, I understand what you mean. What about the Big Mac? And this is a very famous uh, thing in the United States. Do they look the same? Pavel, do they look the same?
Yes, I think a real Big Mac seems eatable.
Yeah, yeah. The left one looks okay, right? The right one looks a little bit different. Doesn't I think
Yes.
messy is another good adjective to describe this, right? Messy. Good.
Yes.
Okay. So we actually ran out of time. But I hope you guys learned a little bit of different ways and little basic rules about how to make comparisons about two things. So we got we got our main grammar point today was comparatives and superlatives. Okay, so I hope you guys have some different ways of talking about things and thinking about ads versus reality, right? Daniel says some of the foods were inedible, which means you can't eat them, right? It looks like that sometimes. Good. Well, if you don't have any questions, I hope you guys have a good day, and thanks for coming to class.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay,
Thank you
thanks for
too. Have a
joining.
nice day.
Yeah, you too. Okay, guys, bye. Have a good
Bye
day.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.